Thank you very much. I know you are running out of time because of some delays, so I will try not to make a very long speech. I promise I will not say the same as Fidel Castro. He used to say that, and in fact he spoke 5 hours. So first of all, I would like to thank very sincerely the invitation to attend the Ard Fheis and the invitation to come to Waterford. It's my big pleasure to represent here the Cuban people, which has very good connections, very good relation to the Workers' Party for a very long time. So being in Ireland, I had the possibility to know better your situation here, and I had the possibility to evaluate the achievements of the Cuban Revolution living in a developed world. I have to tell you that the Cuban Revolution as a revolutionary process is changing all the time. It is doing at this very moment. Listening the words that you have said about education and health, I was thinking of the latest development on education in Cuba. When Fidel Castro says a few years ago, we have to improve the education in Cuba because the equalities of opportunity doesn't mean justice. We have to improve the condition of those who are more disabled. So for that reason, I'm very proud to tell you here that already 2 years ago, we reached a maximum of 20 children per classroom in Cuba. And we have reached, we are living still in hard times. Only last year we came out, we reached again the levels, the economic levels that we had in 1989. So we have lost a period of 15 years. But even though, I have to tell you that we have the highest living expectancies in our continent, we have the lower infant mortality rate in our continent, including the USA. And we have, in my opinion, one of the most efficient social justice systems in our continent, at least. At this very moment, the US imperialism, with the help of its allies, the developed countries of the rest of the world, is trying to destroy the Cuban Revolution by increasing the pressure. They have created a commission, what they call Commission to Assist a Free Cuba. We call that commission Plan Bush Commission. They appointed a future governor of Cuba for the moment when the socialist system will collapse, according to their ideas. So in this modern and very civilized world, we have the case that a person, member of the State Department, his name is Caleb McCarry, will be the Cuban president without being elected in Cuba. He was appointed in the State Department. That person has been traveling all around the world, especially to Europe, have been received officially in Europe, and that person has in his hands a budget of $89 million to spend every year to develop a different image on Cuba. At this very moment, there is a meeting in Berlin about Cuba with the participation of Václav Havel, the former Czech president, Aznar, former Spanish president, and some other distinguished personalities of the most extreme rightist parties or politics in the world. Those people are trying to present Cuba as an evil country. Those people are trying to promote that image in order to ensure the possibility of a further steps like a military aggression or any increasing of the pressures. Very recently, the Czech government and the Polish government proposed to the European Union to adopt what they call long and middle-term strategy on Cuba. That was a plan of action to increase political and economical pressure against Cuba from Europe. That position was not approved. They are still discussing. It's too rude, it's too dependent on the US that for some European countries is very embarrassing. But this kind of moving is going on because of, in my opinion, the desperation of the imperialist forces, not only because of the existence of Cuba, but because of the situation that we are facing in the rest of the world. In Latin America, we are experiencing a very hoping process, nationalist, revolutionary process. I'm not talking about communist revolution because the time is different, but I'm talking about the government who take very big care about the self-proud as nations. I'm talking about Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia. there is a process of economic and social integration among those countries. I'm not talking about the European Union project. I'm talking about a very different project where we do have 33,000 Cuban doctors working in the rest of the continent. We have in general 67,000, but 33,000 of them are working in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. We are complementing our economies. We are building hospitals in the rest of the continent with the financial support of Bolivia, Venezuela, and Ecuador. For the first step to eliminate cataracts, I have to tell you that in Latin America, there are 10 million people that cannot see the light of the sun because of a simple cataract. We are eliminating at this very moment 300,000 cataracts per year, and we will eliminate the 10 million cataracts in a period of 6 years. We are building schools for training doctors in Latin America. The rich world is stalling doctors, nurses, engineers for the third world. Can you imagine how hard it is for a family in Brazil or in Panama to give education to their children and to make them a doctor? Could you imagine how easy it is for Europe or for the USA to propose them to come here and to pay a double of the salary? And they steal all these efforts and they let those societies without a single doctor. So we want to reverse that process. We want to give the opportunity to the poorest and the children of the workers to be doctors, engineers, to stay in their countries and to help their societies. There is a new feeling of strengthening the proud of being a Latin American, and this is a challenge from the US. Of course, they will try to destroy this kind of process. They will try to destroy it by using the media. If you read an article, no articles are about Latin America in general in Europe, but if there is one, we'll be criticizing Chavez or criticizing Fidel Castro or the Cuban Revolution. They are trying to cover, as we say, the sun with a finger, but that will be impossible. I think that the times are changing. The world is living a very critical moment. The so-called war against terrorism made this world more unsecure. They miss a very important opportunity to really fight the causes of terrorism, the poverty and inequalities, and they choose the war to ensure their supply of oil. The planet is being destroyed by the greed of the rich to try to consume more. Now they are proposing us to produce biofuels as a solution for the greening gas effects. I may tell you that this proposal has another implication. They are taking out the food from the mouth of the poor to transform it into a fuel for luxury cars in the rich world. That is very insane and very unjust decision. That's not the solution of the problem. The solution should be to have a more realistic life, to be less greed and to be less consumers. But I think the workers and the population of the world will understand and understand this situation nowadays. So that's why we consider so important the international solidarity. That's why we consider so important to share ideas. I must tell you that for me personally, it's been a great opportunity to be here with you and to listen to your opinions, which in my view are very realistic about the situation in Ireland. Don't feel tired of the fight. Fight is never ends. And only fighting we must conquer our rights. That's our very strategic plan of action in Cuba. We've been fighting for 47 years. Every day we have a new reason to fight. Every day we have to confront new enemies or new strategies or new plans of those enemies. But we don't feel tired about that. That gives inspiration in our fight. And we think that the most important is that we are succeeding in this fight. So thank you very much for this invitation. I hope you understand my English, which is not very good. I did my best. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.